Zelenskyy says Xi and Putin are sabotaging peace talks. Who woulda thunk? The Philippines says war with China is on the table, and China reaches the far side of the moon. Then more on this week's China News Headlines. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell, and this episode is sponsored by Surfshark. Whenever you go online, you should be using a VPN like Surfshark to cover your tracks and protect your identity. I'll tell you more at the end. China's Chang'e 6 lunar probe has successfully landed on the far side of the moon, where it proudly flashed the Chinese Communist Party flag before beginning the journey back home to Earth. China was the first to land a probe on the far side of the moon back in 2019, overcoming the obstacles of difficult terrain and communication challenges, not to mention the rainbows. This time, the Chang'e lander is bringing back the world's first samples from the region, including potentially some of the oldest rocks on the moon, older even than this kind of rock. This is a big win for the Chinese Communist Party and a propaganda coup for Xi Jinping. By the way, did you know, if you play the CCP's Dark Side of the Moon propaganda at the same time as watching The Wizard of Oz on mute, you can see that Xi Jinping still looks like Winnie the Pooh. A t-shirt you can buy at ChinaUncensored.tv/merchandise. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin recently attended the Shangri-La Defense Forum in Singapore. Nice of him to actually show up, unlike that time he went missing for days. While there, he told several top security officials that war with China is neither imminent nor unavoidable, which is technically true, I guess, given that the CCP has a ton on its plate right now, considering its declining economy, poor infrastructure, and aging population. But that idea ignores China's military buildup over the past several years. Austin also stressed the need for talks. These comments came a day after he spent over an hour meeting with his Chinese counterpart, Dong Jun. Neither Dong nor Austin were willing to budge on their respective governments' views on Taiwan or the South China Sea, but don't worry, all that's needed is more talks. Speaking of the South China Sea, Austin also lauded Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for speaking powerfully about how the Philippines is standing up for its sovereign rights under international law. I know, rights? International law? Who does he think he is? China has no choice but to escalate tensions now. Marcos, who also attended the conference, hinted that if these clashes between China and the Philippines resulted in the death of Filipino troops, it could mean war. When questioned about how that could draw the U.S. into the picture, Austin declined to comment. He said this was a hypothetical scenario, while reminding attendees that the White House's support for Manila is ironclad, just not ironclad enough to offer a response. I think you have to upgrade to the silverclad package to get one of those. Also at the conference was Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. He made a surprise visit to Singapore with a not-so-surprising accusation against the Chinese Communist Party, that it's disrupting upcoming peace talks in Switzerland. How? Mainly by saying it won't attend. China said it wouldn't attend the conference because Russia wasn't invited, which just goes to show that world politics aren't all that different from high school parties. Russian President Vladimir Putin said during a recent visit to China that the conference was an opportunity for Ukraine to pressure the West into supporting a full Russian withdrawal back to the 1991 borders, which kind of looks like what's happening. Zelenskyy came to the Shangri-La conference in a bid to get U.S.-leaning Asian countries to attend the peace summit and, of course, as a diss to China. Zelenskyy said, "This is unfortunate that such a big, independent, powerful country such as China is an instrument in the hands of Putin." Ooh, sick burn, Zelenskyy. Should we hire him? China claims that it takes no sides in the ongoing war, despite reports that it sent drone parts to the Russian army and has helped the Kremlin skirt Western sanctions. Zelenskyy held a meeting with Lloyd Austin at the conference, but not with Dong Jun, which again just goes to show that world politics aren't all that different from high school parties. Despite what Zelenskyy said in Singapore about China aiding Russia, things might not be going so smoothly for the no-limits partners. This week, a gas pipeline deal has stalled over China's price demands. China has been helping Russia out a lot by buying Russian natural gas and oil, despite massive Western sanctions on Moscow. But now China is taking advantage of Russian dependency, especially in regards to the power of Siberia 2 pipeline, which redirects gas that is no longer going to Europe to China. Russia heavily subsidizes its domestic energy prices, and the CCP wants to buy at the subsidized price. Additionally, it only wants to commit to buying a small fraction of the gas pipeline's estimated annual capacity of 50 billion cubic meters. So talks seem to have hit a dead end. Maybe Zelenskyy spoke too soon when he said that China is a puppet of Putin. If anything, Putin might be a puppet of Xi, his little piglet, if you will. Tensions continue to mount between China and the Philippines. Earlier I said President Marcos threatened war if China kills a Filipino in the South China Sea. But China is accusing Filipino military personnel of pointing guns at the Chinese Coast Guard, which the Philippines has denied. The incident happened on May 19th when the Chinese Coast Guard seized supplies for a Philippine military outpost at the Second Thomas Shoal. Philippines military personnel are stationed on the Sierra Madre, a rusty World War II-era ship purposely grounded on the shoal since 1999. The CCP only broadcasted these claims last Sunday. And when Beijing isn't backstabbing the Russians or irritating the Filipinos, it's threatening the Taiwanese. Again, the Chinese Communist Party says it's ready to forcefully stop Taiwan independence. What was that saying from Beauty and the Beast? Tale as old as time? At the Shangri-La conference, Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun once again reiterated that the CCP will act resolutely and forcefully at all times to curb the independence of Taiwan and to ensure that it never succeeds in its attempts. Dong also threatened to crush anyone who dares to help Taipei become independent. And Taiwan said it regretted that he made those remarks, which is the most brutal response possible. Taiwan literally pulled a, "I'm not mad, just disappointed." But Taiwan is still preparing for the worst-case scenario by reviving a new generation frigate program. According to a May 25th report in local media outlet LTN, the new generation frigate will help Taiwan deal with the ongoing challenges of the Taiwan Strait and increase joint operational capabilities while coming with a sophisticated set of air defenses. Some warn that the program is too difficult and expensive to revive. And there are questions over whether or not the U.S. will supply the Aegis air defense system, which is critical to the frigate. So basically, there's a lot that is still either unknown or undecided about this. Looks like Taiwan needs to upgrade to that silver-clad package. This week was the 35th anniversary of June 4th, 1989, a day where nothing happened in Tiananmen Square. Don't worry about it. But outside of China, people remembered. Especially Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te, saying that the massacre will not disappear in the torrent of history. Lai said that Taiwan would work hard to make this historical memory last forever, and that it's a reminder that democracy and freedom are hard-won, which is another one of the reasons the CCP wants to erase Taiwan. Just like they're doing to Hong Kong. Hong Kong was once the only place in China where commemorations of the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre were allowed. No longer now that the CCP dominates the port city. Hong Kong police detained artist San Mu Chen this past Monday, although he was quickly released after a round of questioning. According to authorities, he was found causing chaos near a park where commemorations often take place. Let's play a game. I want you to imagine what causing chaos means. Smashing windows? Throwing Molotov cocktails? Nope. He was signing in the air the date of the massacre. Police then quickly came and took him away. Such chaos. Meanwhile, just like last year, pro-Beijing groups organized a carnival that day in Victoria Park, which used to be popular for hosting Tiananmen Square massacre commemoration events. So not only does the CCP want to erase the memory of the Tiananmen Square massacre, they want to erase the memory of commemorating the massacre as well. And by massacre, I of course mean the Tiananmen Square massacre. But according to Nobel laureate in economics Paul Krugman, what the CCP really ought to be worried about is its failing economy. Krugman accused the CCP of being bizarrely unwilling to help increase consumer demand instead of engaging in overproduction. That would greatly help out its terrible economic performance, which has been breaking down faster than my knees in my late 30s. Me and China's economy are in constant pain. Oh, but Xi Jinping is telling foreign investors that everything is fine, so I'm sure the economy is healthy, and that cracking noise in my joints is totally normal. Biden also piled in, and considering his joint health, that's a real bad idea. He told Time magazine that China's economy is on the brink. Biden said that many people seem to act as if China is incredibly wealthy and powerful, while the truth is that China has got a population considerably older than the vast majority of the youth in Europe that is too old to work. Biden can relate. But Biden wasn't finished. He also said that China has an economy that's on the brink there. The idea that their economy is booming, give me a break. And then he described the Belt and Road Project as a nuisance graveyard initiative. A little weak. Leave the burns to Zelenskyy. So while the CCP can bully its people, its neighbors, and even send rovers to the dark side of the moon, it can't ensure the prosperity of its people or economy. That's not a recipe for a long reign. Pretty soon, all the CCP will be remembered for is the Tiananmen Square massacre. Now, I got another video I want to show you, but first, this episode is sponsored by Surfshark. When you go online, everything you do is potentially compromised, unless you're taking active steps to protect yourself. No matter where you live, no matter what you do online, you should always be keeping your internet activity private with a VPN like Surfshark, especially when you're doing things like logging into your bank account or credit card online. If you've ever used shared Wi-Fi, you're in danger. Hackers can easily steal your password without you even knowing it. And when you travel, especially overseas, you might need a VPN that makes it look like you're in your home country, just to log into your accounts. So it saves a huge potential hassle. And you can install it on as many devices as you want, even on your Amazon Fire TV stick. You know, if you want to make it appear like you're logged in from a different country so you can access all the good Netflix shows that are geo-blocked. So seriously, check out Surfshark. Go to surfshark.com/uncensored and you'll get 4 months extra when you sign up. That's surfshark.com/uncensored or use the code uncensored at checkout. The link is in the description below. And here's that video I want to show you. If you didn't know, I also have a new show called Deep Thoughts While Gaming, where I combine news, politics, and philosophy with my patented humorous approach with gaming, all in the span of 15 minutes or less. Click here for the latest and let me know what you think. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.